street is the World Trade Plaza. This is what used to be there. See these two twin buildings? They both came down on September 11, 2001. And we're going to see exactly where they were. Let's see, how old are you all?
7.
So you were probably crawling around on the kitchen floor, the television is on, and all of a sudden your parents are like, oh my goodness, because at 8:46 a.m. a plane came going 400 miles per hour. Bam! Stand up. Her arm is the World Trade Center. Stand up. Straighten your arm. A plane came in and hit right up here. Okay? That fell over. Spin your arm down. That just fell down. Okay. Good enough. That building came down. Hello. Bingo, back on. That plane came down in 106 minutes. Meanwhile, 16 minutes later, another plane is coming at 600 miles per hour, but this plane is on its side. Comes right here and hits in the middle. That goes down. Why didn't the building turn all the way over? See all these tall buildings? There's a reason why we have all these tall buildings. You don't have them in Canada. We have something called a pile of schist.
Hey.
No, I didn't say the dog stuff. S-C-H-I-S-T. It is 450-million-year-old bedrock, and it anchors all of these buildings. That's why we have the subways that don't cave in. That's why we have all these amazing buildings. So even the two buildings over here, they fell this way. They didn't fall that way, they fell this way. The second building that was hit fell in 96 minutes. 3,000 people lost their lives. The building that toppled over, 1,500 people were living there and working there. And they couldn't jump. They couldn't go down the elevators. They died of smoke inhalation, and a lot of them had to jump. You know how many countries were working in these two buildings? 90. Canada had a tremendous number of people who were working there. Bam, that was just an awful thing to happen. We have something called the Homeland Security, and we have the Patriot Act. You'll hear about it in school. That came out of 9/11. So when we go across the street, we're going to look at two things. The two memorial pools, P-O-O-L-S. And there was the North Tower, the building that came down, and the South Tower, the second building that came down. And you're going to see all these names around the corners of people who died that day. Now, there were other people who died too. You heard about the plane that came down in Pennsylvania, and one plane hit the Pentagon in Washington. Those people are buried or have their names there too. If we see a white rose there, tell them happy birthday. If you see a flag or something else there, it means that somebody came to visit them. Now you're going to see all these amazing trees around the side. You know what? Those trees live 350 years. Man, I like that. They're called swamp oaks. Now these trees are going to make like an umbrella so that if it's raining, you don't have to worry about getting wet. Give them a couple of years. And each one of those trees is wearing a necklace. You have to point the necklace out to me. You know what the necklace does? It can see that little ring on your nose. It can tell what color your fingernail polish is. It can tell you whether or not you have quarters, dimes, or pennies in your pocket. But mainly, what's it looking for? The same thing we saw over here. Now, it also tells you the health of the tree. Does the tree need more water, less water, no water? And then there's one tree which I'll show you called the survivor tree. It's a pear tree. Am I losing you or are you still with me? Okay, you still with me? This pear tree, that lady up there happens to be my daughter, so just ignore her. She's been doing this since she was 3 years old. Whatever. Anyway, say hello to Leslie.
You know her.
I know her.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, you thought it was the
NYC girls are like,
You thought it was
so ladies,
You thought it was the FBI?
Sorry.
I don't want someone taking rid of
I've never videoed her, but I don't want to get this.
So anyway, I come to all her singing shows, so this is the best I can show. Anyway, well, I forgot what I was saying. The pear tree. When everything came down, there was nothing living. Nothing. But there was one little pitiful tree. It was about as tall as me. And its limbs were broken, and the leaves were coming off, and they wanted to just throw it away. But these two brothers who were nurserymen said, I'm just going to take this back to my nursery and we'll nurse it. Today, that tree is 30 feet tall. It's alive, it's robust, and it represents rebirth. That's why don't you dare go back to Canada and say you went to ground zero. There is no ground zero anymore. It's the World Trade Site. The only people who call it ground zero are the firemen, because to them it will always be death and destruction. I'm going to tell you two stories. One has to do with her husband. They have this big boat that they keep on the Hudson River, and they were out there having coffee in the morning, and her husband was looking out and he said, oh my gosh, where are the binoculars? He picked up his binoculars and he saw a second plane coming. The next thing you know, he hears some pattering on the floor of the deck. Captain, I need you to go over and bring people back from over here. And he said, I can't take that big boat. The guy said, doesn't matter. His captain was over in Brooklyn. He made 3 or 4 trips, bringing 600 people at a time back. Now, they didn't want you down here if you couldn't contribute something. If you couldn't bring food or blankets or nursing equipment, they didn't want you down here. So, those are the people who would help. Now, I can keep you all entertained by telling you stories, but I think what we need to do is to walk over and see, kind of stay with me, and then we're going to go under a tunnel, an all-marble tunnel that will take us under the 1776 building, tall building. When we get over there, I will tell you what you see.
Yeah, we're down to the cold tower now.
What? Where are we going?
Into the tunnel?
Well, I do, but
We're going to see the survivor tree. You tell me, what is it, girls? Why is the necklace there?
It detects bombs and stuff.
Yeah, it detects whether or not, it tells you what color your fingernail polish is. It tells you whether this tree needs more water or less water, or okay, the tree is okay, it's healthy. And it will detect it. See, it has a number on it, so that if they suspect something, they know exactly what part it is. These are white swamp oaks. There are 100 of them around, and they live for 350 years, and they get very, very tall. At one point, it's going to be like a canopy. It will be like we have our own umbrella.